Welcome back here to Croke Park. The teams are on the field. Just a moment ago, the Kerry team took to the pitch. They in defence of their All-Ireland football title and greeted, of course, by the loyal supporters. Here they come, Kerry, for this All-Ireland semi-final showdown against Kildare. Seamus Moynihan, the Kerry captain, led his side out as they came across the field to take their place on the bench for the traditional photograph before the big game. Time was, we were making the point a little bit earlier on the programme, that the Kerry supporters might come up with a little trickle for an All-Ireland semi-final, almost sure that they'd be back again in September for a final. Well, they are the All-Ireland champions at the moment, but those days are gone. Everybody now wants to be behind their team for every game in the championship, it seems. The All-Ireland champions, Stephen Stack at the end there, here to win back their place in that All-Ireland final. Now, I wonder, does a blanket of white constitute a colourful scene? Well, I'll let you judge that for yourself, because when the Kildare team came out here onto the pitch, there was an ecstatic welcome, as you would expect. And look at that colour. Yes, I know the black is in there. I know the checkered flag now is part of their colour. But the Kildare supporters welcoming their side into Croke Park for an All-Ireland semi-final. And that's the first time that's happened since 1956. Yes, and that was me there briefly as well. Yes, tremendous scene here at Croke Park. As I said, one of our floor managers, Tiger Brune, was telling me that he was driving up through Kildare yesterday, coming back from Thurles, that semi-final hurling replay, and he said it was like snow in Kildare. There were so many flags and so much colour out to support the team on this very big day. But of course, as we've been saying, Tony Davis, in supporting this team, there has been that change. Niall Buckley gone off the side, and that is obviously, as we were saying earlier on, going to be a blow to them. Although you were saying, in a kind of a way, it might upset the Kerry midfield as well. Well,
I'm sure Darragh O'Shea would have been built up. This was Darragh's big game to come out and prove himself as one of the best midfielders in the country by marking Niall Buckley at midfield. And I'm sure now he would have been focusing totally on Niall Buckley, where he'll just have to reassess now, and he'll be marking Dermot Early, a young footballer, a very, very good footballer, but surely Darragh would be stronger than him around the middle of the field. Ken Doyle coming in, well, I suppose that makes a big difference as well for Kerry as well, because Seamus Moynihan would have been marking Dermot Early, so they'll have to rejig there as well. And Kildare, as we all know, is a cornerback. He started off, plays half-back as well. So I'd imagine that he would play behind midfield and try and create space in the forward line for the long ball in.
Without overstating, Colin, the importance of Niall Buckley, nonetheless, the partnership between himself and Willie McCreary had been so important to Kildare this year and had been going so well.
Yes, if you had to pick out the best Kildare player for the last 2 years, it would have been Niall Buckley by a mile. And not only that, the option to that Christy Byrne had of kicking the kick-outs down the left side to Dermot Early, now that's gone. They had 3 big men in the middle, now they're reduced to 2. Ken Doyle is a smaller player, and you know, we all started looking at the programme when we heard Ken Doyle was on and look at the Kildare subs, and the problem seems to be that most of the subs they have for the forwards are for the full forward line, and they don't seem to have a natural half-forward sub. So now we're left with a situation that Kildare are certainly going to be much smaller around the middle of the field than Kerry, and it would look as if Kerry should have the ability to outfield them for most of the kickouts.
OK, gentlemen, I think we have some news now from the Kildare dressing room. Let's go over to Marty.
Thank you very much, Michael. I can tell you that the Kerry dressing room is always a very friendly place to visit, but this afternoon Paddy O'Shea was extremely tense, although he did say to me in a quiet moment that he's worked very hard since January but didn't really want to do any interviews. They really do respect Kildare and to a certain extent go into this game with a certain amount of trepidation. I can tell you, however, that Kerry will play with a slight breeze in the first half. Indications are that Seamus Moynihan told his colleagues they'll be playing towards Hill 16 in the first half. I don't know whether they won the toss or not, but that seems to be an indication that Seamus Moynihan and Kerry will be playing with the breeze in the first half.
Thanks, Marty. Yes, the inside situation from the Kerry dressing room there. Paddy O'Shea, Tony, is under a lot of pressure this year, it seems to be. Now, I know he took them to an All-Ireland final victory last year, but also this year in terms of dealing with the press, although he's been courteous and helpful and so forth, he's been putting a lot of distance between himself and the press. In other words, you can talk to me today, but you can't talk to me tomorrow, because obviously he feels he's going to do this himself this year.
Yes, I think I saw Paddy's learning as well as everybody else. You know, he's really distancing himself and the team from the media. He knows that to win in All-Ireland by himself will be a great achievement for him. He had McGarrell with him there last year, and a lot of people were saying like that Seamus McGarrell was more or less the brains behind the outfit, you know. But Paddy wants to do it himself this year. He wants to show people, especially in Kerry, that he is the man. And like, he's done it for them at under 21, now he wants to do it for them at senior level. I don't blame him from distancing the team from it, because let him be the buffer zone, because there is an awful lot of call on the players nowadays, everybody ringing them up and looking for interviews, so I think he's right there.
Okay, well, the teams are in the parade, as you can see, and once again, without overstating this point either, the scene here and the atmosphere, I think it's because of the anticipation that we're in for a very, very good game of football. The crowd are getting behind both sides as they go down by the canal end, and that's our cue to join our big match commentator of the afternoon. We say good afternoon to Ger Canning.
A very good afternoon to you one and all. Yes, 65,000 people are here this afternoon, and you could have got another 20, 30,000 in if the capacity had been there. A wonderful spectacle on a wonderful afternoon. Strange little thought went through my mind just watching the Kildare team parade down in front of us here at the Hogan stand, looking at the number 14, Carol O'Dwyer. I'm sure he must have been saying to himself, I could have been wearing one of those jerseys, the green and the gold of Kerry. Indeed, of course, he used to that. So the teams led by their respective captains. It's Seamus Moynihan, of course, leading the men of Kerry this afternoon, hoping to get them back into another All-Ireland final, a final against Galway this time around. And of course it's the number 6 Glenn Ryan who leads Kildare in front of the capacity crowd. That's the new stand, the many different tiers. The entire Hill 16 is taken up with people who are supporting Kildare, of course. It's like a covering of snow in the middle of summer, all white. And after the marvellous Guinness replayed semi-final in Thurles yesterday afternoon, let's hope this Bank of Ireland semi-final in football will be every bit as good. The ingredients are certainly there. The Leinster champions against the Munster champions. Maurice Fitzgerald there at the very back of that group. Green and gold everywhere down at the canal end and in many other parts of the ground as well, as you can see. Good-natured banter among the fans, mingling together before the match. It's been such a long time for these Kildare fans, most of them far too young to remember the last time they were in a semi-final, but that was back in 1956, 42 years ago, a long, long time, but they bridged that in that marvellous win they had over Meath. And now Kildare fans, I'm sure, are wondering, having managed to beat Dublin at the second attempt, having managed to beat Meath, both of them All-Ireland winners during the 90s, can they now beat the reigning All-Ireland champions themselves? And the Kerry selectors, of course, make just one change from the team that won the Munster final against Tipperary. It shows the return of Tralee's William Kirby, one of the stars of last September's All-Ireland success. He's had a rough time of it with injuries, but finally gets a recall. And it may possibly be as a third midfielder, but we'll have to wait and see just what pans out as the game develops. Of course, much of the interest and much of the speculation already before the game will be on how Maurice Fitzgerald and Mike F. Russell do up front. So the teams breaking into their positions. It will be Kildare who'll play against the breeze in the first half. They'll play from left to right. And it's a stiff enough breeze. Kildare had, of course, to hope to name an unchanged lineup this afternoon. Brian Murphy perhaps a little unlucky not to be included from the outset. But as we've now heard, Niall Buckley cannot start today. And it's Ken Doyle who comes in as his replacement. Dermot Earley will partner William McCreary in midfield. And as you see, Ken Doyle goes in at left half forward. And this is the man who's coming next week and going to Ballybunion, where he'll play a little bit of golf. He'll be welcome. Well, Kerry are going into their positions. Kildare, as you see, into a huddle. The band are ready. Everybody stands to attention, faces the tricolour. Agus Aaron Via. There's a mass outpouring of joy at Croke Park. Two sides had qualified for this stage in the Bank of Ireland Championship at the very beginning of August. It's been 4 weeks that we've had to wait for, but it's showdown time. And in charge of the match this afternoon is Superintendent Michael Curley from Galway and his linesman Brendan Gorman from Armagh and Seamus Pryor from Leitrim. And a switch in the Kerry full backline at the beginning there. Eamon Fitzmaurice and Barry O'Shea would appear to switch in midfield. It's O'Shea and Daly. And into midfield, of course, we know that Dermot Early and McCreary. There's the band centre stage this afternoon. Mick O'Dwyer as the match gets underway. And it's Kerry who launched the first attack with Darragh O'Shea playing into the goal down at Hill 16. Down where the Kildare fans are certainly there en masse. Maurice Fitzgerald attracting 4 men to him, a very astute pass ahead. Johnny Crowley had such a wonderful match in the Munster semi-final against Cork. Playing it back here towards Darragh Kineda. Man coming in here, and there's the first score put over the bar. That's a wonderful start. It's the midfielder, Donald Daly, with the first score of the match in the first half minute of the tie. Well, that was a wonderful run by Daly. Maurice Fitzgerald set it all up, and when the ball was played back from Johnny Crowley to Darragh Kineda, look who was coming at the far post, and he fisted it over. So Kerry hit the front. This is William Kirby. They're tearing into Kildare in the early moments of this match. A kick, however, that's gone into the crowd, but gone wide of the target, and disappointment for William Kirby. Kirby playing in his 5th championship match this afternoon. And we've got some news, I think, straight away from the sideline from Marty.
Yes, just before the game started, lots of agitation along the sideline here over where Kildare were going to be. They thought they were going to the dugout to my left as I sit here. In fact, they were going to the right, and there was an argument between the Kildare, Kerry and Croke Park officials. On the playing field, let me tell you, the Porrick Graven will take over for the long-range freeze from Niall Buckley.
It's Darragh O'Shea who has it in midfield. Angling one across here towards Mike Frank. But he was unable to make it, however. And there's the Kerry dugout there, which is to the right. Sauce Dowling kicking this one in. Darragh Kineda again, or Darragh O'Shea rather. William Kirby. This is Darragh Kineda. Glenn Ryan alongside him. Big task for Glenn this afternoon because of Kineda's playing some wonderful football. That's right in there, troubling the goalkeeper. Maurice Fitzgerald was down on top of him almost, and it's fisted out for the game's first 45. Problems for Christy Byrne straight away there. Well, that was a real awkward one to deal with. Booted in from way out the field by Darragh Kineda, and he flapped at it somewhat and managed to get it away to safety. And Maurice Fitzgerald was just yards away from him. Well, Maurice Fitzgerald coming out to take the game's first 45. Score of 11 goals and 178 points in championship football, which a gentleman in Tralee named Martin Collins reminds me of. It's the first chance this afternoon for Maurice. Footballer of the year last year. Bidding to give Kerry their second point of the match. That's dropping left. It's the second wide for Kerry, but they have the lead thanks to Donald Daly. It'll be Christy Byrne who'll kick towards midfield, which of course has Dermot Earley and Willie McCreary in there, but not Niall Buckley, out through injury. Scrappy play. Picked up here by Darragh Kineda once again. Glenn Ryan was tugging at him. Early indications that Darragh Kineda is going to have a very influential game this afternoon. Early stages, however. Towards Mike Frank Russell. Sauce Dowling going out to him. Good turn by Mike Frank. In towards Paul Lade. Lade getting it onto the left foot. Great block down. That's a wonderful block. And Kildare come out. Declan Kerrigan towards Glenn Ryan. Liam Flaherty, the man who's there. Well, that was a simply brilliant block by, I think, Brian Lacey. There's a trip. John Finn, the man who went down. Glenn Ryan to take this one. Team captain. Good deep ball inside. Dropped down there, however, by Stephen Stack. And he touched it on the ground, and it's going to be a free in. And it gives Pádraig Graven the chance of the first score of the match for Kildare. Really hot, humid afternoon here in Dublin, following some really splendid weather. Pádraig Graven is taking maximum care with this. Remember Pádraig Joyce last Sunday for Galway? He took an awful lot of time, judging the wind as well, which is blowing into his face. It's 30 metres out. And it's the equaliser. First chance of a point from a free, and Pádraig Graven avails of it. Happy Kildare fans hoping to really enjoy their afternoon. And it's 1 point apiece. And this was the block down here just moments ago. It was beautifully effective. In fact, I think it was Anthony Rainbow who did it. McCreary coming, jumping for this, missing it. Coming out for it there is Ronan Quinn. Declan Kerrigan's gone very, very deep, hoping to bring Liam Flaherty out of position. Angling one across here towards Eddie McCormack. A booming one. McCreary is up there after it. A wonderful catch. Donald Daly, who got the first point of the match, making the catch. Coming up out of midfield. Glenn Ryan breaks it down towards Dermot Earley. Dermot Jr., of course. Crossing the 45-metre line, showing pace. And the kick, a little wayward. Kildare's first wide. But he really knifed his way through the Kerry defence. Suddenly it parted, but that was the catch moments ago there, taken down by Donald Daly. It'll be Declan O'Keefe to take this kick out, playing today in his 11th championship match. Darragh O'Shea, fine catch. Two men alongside him, Early and Kerrigan. Feeds it back to Flaherty. Great ball ahead towards Maurice Fitzgerald. Bounces away from him. Brian Lacey is back there doing the marking job. This is Glenn Ryan. And again, Lacey taking it out. Willie McCreary. Nice combined play. John Finn. Kildare then using the hand passes to get themselves clear of some of the Kerry markers. Kerry forwards applying the brakes as quickly as possible in the Kildare team. This is towards Martin Lynch. Very good positioning by Lynch. McCormack is near him. Here's Eddie. Inside towards Carol Dwyer. Marking him this afternoon is Eamon Fitzmaurice. Again they try to turn inside. Beautiful ball, Carol Dwyer against his native county. Kicking, and he scores. And Kildare go in front. That was a great point by Carol Dwyer. It was worked up very effectively towards Martin Lynch. And when the pass came to Carol O'Dwyer, he kicked with great assurance. And I tell you, if Kildare go on to win this match, I'm sure there'll be major questions back in the kingdom as to why he was allowed to play with them. Had a spell, of course, playing with Kerry. This is Seamus Moynihan, the Kerry captain. 3 men on him. Still Moynihan. And there was a travelling violation, as it were. Too many steps taken, just as he was playing that ball inside to a waiting colleague. Christy Byrne with the free. And that's Flaherty leaping up into the air. Big burly fellow. Had an excellent All-Ireland final and indeed league final last year. Donald Daly containing this, going by the other number 9, William McCreary. And the referee says, hang on a while. Blows the whistle. Free into Kerry for some dragging back by McCreary. Mick O'Dwyer really is one of the central figures in this afternoon's match. Now 62 years of age and a footballing fanatic. Maurice Fitzgerald taking the kick. It's a huge one in, and there were some men waiting inside on the small rectangle wearing Kerry jerseys. Free out. Glenn Ryan. Good ball across. Back again to Ryan. He goes for the long pass towards Carroll O'Dwyer. Eamon Fitzmaurice's shadow alongside him. They both scramble for it, and the number 2 does well. Already won an under-21 medal this year, last May indeed against Laois. Dara Kineda kicking with the outside of the boot, and he kicks it to the left. It's Kerry's third wide, but he's looked very lively so far. There's Mick O'Dwyer, who of course coached Kerry to 8 All-Ireland titles, won 4 All-Ireland medals himself, and now here he is with the Leinster champions. The referee just calling a couple of players to get outside the 20-metre line. Again, the ball broken down here. It's William Kirby. Back to Kineda. O'Shea waiting for it. Looking for William Kirby again. Johnny Crowley popping up as a left half forward almost. And Kerry almost playing with 2 inside men. Not unexpectedly. Potential match winners, of course, in Mike Frank Russell and Maurice Fitzgerald. But right now it's Kerry defending. Eamon Breen. Glad to have the assistance there of Eamon Fitzmaurice. This is Moynihan. Fisting it judiciously ahead towards Donald Daly. In towards Mike Frank Russell. He's got his chance and he's put it over the bar. First real chance to impress, but a very clever piece of play by Kerry. Isolating the man inside, he was one-on-one on Seamus Dowling, and this beautiful pass inside was so effective, lengthy, gathered, collected well, and finished beautifully. A first for Mike Frank. Eamon Breen just nursing a little injury and getting some attention over there, Dr. Dave Gainey. And Ethan Iwuri is the physio with the Kerry team. Eamon's okay. This time it's Dara O'Shea there with Dermot Early. Again, Liam Flaherty coming in, a real powerhouse. Again, they go for the long ball inside towards Johnny Crowley. Coming inside is Dara O'Kineda, and he's driven it over the bar. The sheer directness of Kerry's play, so positive, so effective, and they've gone in front again. Dara O'Kineda's first. Again, the long ball down towards Johnny Crowley, broken down for the incoming man who was Dara O'Kineda. Sauce Dowling. They work it forward with Anthony Rainbow, the army man. Kick inside towards Martin Lynch, who was being held by the fullback Barry O'Shea. Incidentally, Carol Dwyer and Barry O'Shea are second cousins. All kinds of little tie-ups between the players on both sides this afternoon. For instance, Seamus Moynihan's brother Mick, he used to play with Kildare, and Martin Lynch's dad Pat, he comes from Carsiveen. Porrick Raven's got one so far. This to make it 3-3. This is where Buckley might well have taken the free from that left-hand side. And he's put it wide. He'd be much happier taking the frees on the right-hand side of the field, as it were, kicking with the left. Umpire going in to have a quick word with the referee, Mick Curley. With a quiet little word as he was coming out that time, the referee, with Martin Lynch, who's been marked this afternoon by Barry O'Shea. Well gathered by William Kirby. Needs support. Eamon Breen's available. Shoulder coming in from Eddie McCormack. Declan Kerrigan trying to block it down. It runs loose. Here's Carol Dwyer. Carol going forward. Just goes away from goal. Not gone wide just yet. Barry O'Shea restarting for Kerry. Glenn Ryan trying to judge this one with Dara O'Kineda. Just got a touch on it. Rainbow coming in next. Challenged by Parlade. Glenn Ryan. This is Dermot Early. Dara O'Shea marking him. Barry O'Shea coming out to try and help. Here's Parlade. They had a man over, who is Dara O'Kineda. The man on the 40 goes long again to Mike Frank Russell. Breaks it down to Johnny Crowley this time. The last time it was the other way around. This time it's Crowley who gets the score. The sheer direction of Kerry, however, is really paying dividends. The long punt inside by somebody like O'Kineda, usually. This time broken down by Mike Frank to the man in picture. Johnny Crowley making 4 points to 2. And remember that Kerry have the breeze at their backs for the opening 35 minutes. Dara O'Shea contesting with Dermot Early. He dragged him down, so it's a free to Kerry. Towards Mike Frank Russell. Sauce Dowling is really going to have a torrid time this afternoon by all appearances. Parlade. The intention was to link up with Maurice Fitzgerald, but again Brian Lacey does well. A real candidate for an Aircel All-Star at the end of the season, I think, the number 2 for Kildare. Here's Declan Kerrigan, recovered from the injury he sustained in the last match against Meath. Stephen Stack was a substitute in 1986 when Kerry won an All-Ireland against Tyrone, and Mick Godoy was the manager. William Kirby towards Johnny Crowley, spills away. Again Dara O'Kineda coming in trying to pick up loose pieces. John Finn, Anthony Rainbow, and Carol O'Dwyer has gone very, very deep, bringing Eamon Fitzmaurice with him, just outside his own 45-metre line. Again, Kildare build around the half-back line with hand passing. John Finn coming forward, a shoulder from Seamus Moynihan, the other number 5. Declan Kerrigan. There's a slowness about Kildare's approach to getting into attacking situations, which certainly is in marked contrast to the way Kerry approached the game. Rainbow. Again, they'll try to work it in. This time they get a free kick. Anthony Rainbow opting to leave it for Declan Kerrigan. Parlade showing the strains of the afternoon, along with Anthony Rainbow, marking one another. It is very hot. So Porrick Raven comes out to hit this one. John Finn's making a run up to help him. Here comes the man from Clane, going for the point. It's going left. It's fisted in by McCreary. Stopped on the goal line by Dara O'Shea. Appealed by Martin Lynch. Referee says play on. Kerry do. And Seamus Moynihan fists it out to Stephen Stack. Well, they were living dangerously there. Down towards Maurice Fitzgerald. Brian Lacey takes it again. What a game he's playing, even though there's only 18 minutes gone. Eddie McCormack. Oh, lost his way. Eamon Breen has it. Now parlayed. Bank official in Tralee going long towards Johnny Crowley. Marking him as Ronan Quinn. Quinn from Leixlip trying to get that ball away for Kildare. Getting some assistance, and in the end it's a foul. Johnny Crowley with the protests. Johnny's a guard, of course, protesting to the superintendent. This just moments ago here. Was this near to that line? How close was it? Oh, it was very, very close. Oh, Kildare playing it ridiculously short. Christy Byrne, Sean Finn working it up the field. Dermot Early trying to wriggle loose somehow. Eddie McCormack. A direct pass inside this time towards Pornick Graven. Stephen Stack hanging out of him almost. Kerrigan going through. Kildare looking to put just a point between the teams. Carol O'Dwyer outside towards Anthony Rainbow. Happy to let that ball go over the sideline. Could have picked it up, could have worked it in. Opted not to do so. And the referee's whistle goes. Paddy O'Shea pacing up and down the line. The line ball may have been taken from the incorrect position, and the referee may decide it's a reason for throwing the ball up. Collected here well. Porrick Graven holding it up here brilliantly. This is Ken Doyle. Worked inside, still Doyle. The man who started the match in place of Niall Buckley, just losing his way. And kicked away after all of that by Barry O'Shea. Well, there is Niall Buckley. What a great loss he is for Kildare this afternoon. It's going to be a sideline kick for Kildare. Eddie McCormack about to take it. Coming up for it is John Finn. Had a go earlier in the game here. Going right through. And he puts it over the bar. John Finn then, ensuring that there's just the minimum between the teams. Kerry still lead, but that point has made it 4 points to 3. This is how he took that ball, worked his way inside, wormed his way away from the challenges, and a very good kick. O'Keefe's kick out, a long one, wind assisted. Dropping deep, Darragh O'Shea breaking it. Declan Kerrigan picking it up for Kildare. Here's Ken Doyle. Again they go long. Not the greatest of balls, however, not giving Porrick Graven that much of a chance. Stephen Stack delivering it back down, but over the sideline. I must say, when I went into the Kildare dressing room and saw Mick O'Dwyer in there, you kind of forget, which dressing room are you in? You associate him with the team managed now, of course, by P. Shea. The master and the pupil this afternoon in action. Here's Martin Lynch. Pisting it inside here towards Graven, hoping to take a return ball. Graven's down injured. Kerry get it away. Stephen Stack driving it downfield towards Maurice Fitzgerald. Porrick Graven is still down on the ground, very near the far end line. Not sure if he collided with a boot. There was a little passing movement involving himself and Martin Lynch, of course. This is it again in reprise. Down he went and came off second best. Dr. Danny Mulvihill is the man who was long-time medical expert with the Kildare football team. Well, as free taker this afternoon, he has a very big responsibility, Graven. A goal and 17 points in the season so far going into the championship, and a goal and 18 now after his first half point. A view of the magnificent new stand here in Croke Park. Every section of it well and truly covered this afternoon. No spaces available. Sellout fixture, and happily Graven's okay. So play can continue with a sideline ball. Seamus Moynihan drops it in towards Maurice Fitzgerald. This time he can't hold it. and it's Glenn Ryan. Kildare are doing a very good job marking Maurice Fitzgerald so far in this game. It's worked up here towards Anthony Rainbow. Declan Kerrigan next. Has the option of kicking it in long towards Martin Lynch. Holds on to it a bit too long, however. Lynch has come short for it. Willie McCreary's making a run into the centre. McCormack's available as well. Still Lynch. Here's McCreary. They're trying to get their 4th point, but they kind of lose the game plan when they get into the final third. Quick kick out of defence. Nobody marking Dara O'Kineda. Glenn Ryan opting to stay back, and now it's Anthony Rainbow who's gone closest to him. It's punted in towards Maurice Fitzgerald, looking for his first score of the game. Ronan Quinn trying to get it out. Johnny Crowley has it. Considering the pass, considering the kick himself. In the end, William Kirby has a goal. Stopped on the line by Christy Byrne. Well, Kerry really had a chance there of putting 2 between them in front of an attendance of 65,002. Here comes John Finn. Borry Graven, marked by Stephen Stack over the sideline. Darragh O'Shea knocking one in again towards the inside forward line. They're so good at playing that ball around in there. Here's Parlade slipping inappropriately, trying to get it back as far as Mike Frank. Now Dara O'Kineda towards Johnny Crowley, but it's a wayward kick, and Declan Kerrigan once again comes extremely deep. Trying to negative the influence, of course, of Flaherty as they get through here with Graven trying to keep it away. Martin Lynch. Carl Dwyer calling for it. Martin Lynch going for it, looking for the equaliser, but he's put it to the right. He's put it wide, and that's the 3rd wide now for Kildare, same as Kerry. But Kerry have the lead. There really is quite a contrast in styles between the measured play of Kildare, which at times can frustrate their fans, Kerry's greater directness, producing chances, usually taken. Great catch, Ken Doyle coming forward. Good delivery towards Martin Lynch. That's a great ball. This should be it, and it's the equaliser. Martin Lynch's first point. Everybody in the full forward line has now scored, and they are level now for the 3rd time. It was a great movement. Ken Doyle set off here. A great diagonal run across by Martin Lynch, dragging Barry O'Shea out of position, and a wonderful finish. 4-4. About 8 minutes to go to half-time. William Kirby leaping in the air with John Finn, breaking ball, everybody appealing for it, and the linesman Seamus Pryor here from Leitrim says that way. Sun in the eyes of Paddy O'Shea, who's done a wonderful job. League and Championship winners last year, Munster champions this year. Declan Kerrigan trying to force the pace against the breeze. It's a long, long time since Kildare reached an All-Ireland final. 1935 the last year. Dara O'Kineda outside of the boot, dropping it in towards Maurice Fitzgerald. And that time there was a man leaning on him, and the man was Brian Lacey. He protests, but in vain. The ex-Tipperary man. And the referee just explained that you were leaning in over the top of Maurice Fitzgerald. Mention of Maurice Fitzgerald, he's going to come and take the kick himself, well within his range. It's 40 metres out. Maurice Fitzgerald has scored a goal and 14 points in this year's championship. Just 2 matches played, of course, against Croke and against Tipperary in the Munster campaign. Kicking into the fans up on Hill 16. And he's missed it somewhat. Didn't connect properly, gathered by Christy Byrne. So the match still tied up. John Finn. Rainbow taking the shoulder there with quite a deal of conviction. Out to Glenn Ryan. Getting it away towards Ken Doyle. the man who set up the point for Martin Lynch a little while ago. Linking up here with Eddie McCormack, drilling it inside there towards Martin Lynch, playing centrally. Back to Carol O'Dwyer, playing around 40 metres out, but an illegal hand pass, the referee says, by Carol O'Dwyer. A throw rather than an effective hand pass. That's what the referee, Michael Curley, has deemed. Here's Darragh O'Shea, down to William Kirby. They were midfield partners last year's championship. Here's Johnny Crowley, back once again. Donald Daly, high up into the air. Not much of a chance for any of the inside forwards to make that. But it's collected back there by the Kildare backs. Saw Stowling starting it off. Now it's Dermot Early. Declan Kerrigan. So far they've done a pretty effective job of keeping the ball away from Liam O'Flaherty. Coming forward early, dispossessed. Darragh O'Shea, nephew of the team manager, giving it to Breen to kick deep down towards Johnny Crowley. Kildare break it out again towards Ken Doyle. They scramble for it there with Darragh Kineda. This is Glenn Ryan taking the shoulder wonderfully well. Anthony Rainbow knocked ahead here towards Carol O'Dwyer. He's playing well away from the Kerry goal. Inside towards Martin Lynch. Scrambled ball. McCreary coming after it. This is Eamon Fitzmaurice. Nicely outside to William Kirby. Between Johnny Crowley here and the fullback, Ronan Quinn. Nice ball inside here towards William Kirby. Oops, down he goes, taken down unceremoniously. And a free kick to Kerry. Well, he really has been plagued by injuries. In fact, it was a shoulder injury that forced William Kirby eventually out of last year's All-Ireland final against Mayo. Ronan Quinn, the guilty party. Just under 5 minutes to go to half-time. Now, can Maurice Fitzgerald put Kerry ahead? He's had 3 frees so far, hasn't scored from any of them. Usually most assured. Gives it everything. It comes off the post this time, still out of luck. Mike Frank with the follow-up kick, and that has gone wide. He's disappointed. The umpire was waving it wide, and so too were the Kildare players. Right, well, there's a little pause. Let's go up to the sideline. Some news from Marty Morrissey.
Great concern in the Kerry dugout. Sean Coonahan, Paul Lucy, Frank O'Leary and the acting selector Sean Walsh have huddled together here just in front of us in the new Cusack stand. Very concerned that Kerry have not availed of a very strong breeze. They're also concerned that Maurice Fitzgerald is inclined to ramble around the centre forward area, and Paddy O'Shea has gone down to tell him to stay again in front of Christy Byrne's goal mouth as much as possible.
Okay, well, he's been very well marked by Brian Lacey, you have to say that. William McCreary coming to gather. Fine catch. Anthony Rainbow setting them off again. Now Declan Kerrigan rather. Back towards Rainbow it comes. Driven long and deep. Dermot Early was unable to hold it. Looks at the referee, feeling he was fouled by Eamon Fitzmaurice. It's kicked away, but back, waiting for it in midfield, is Martin Lynch. Now John Finn. Great ball inside. Dermot Early stayed forward, thinking he might get something, and he may yet. Breen in there to challenge, trying to stymie him. Still Dermot Early working his way in, but he's taken too many steps about it, and the referee says free out. Kildare feeling, no, it should have been a penalty, but the referee, I think, was spot on. William Kirby, who misses it completely. John Finn has it. Here's Martin Lynch. Suddenly he's gone into the middle of the field, or has gone back very, very deep. Ken Doyle, now Rainbow. The corner forwards are playing back, the half-backs are going forward. It's that kind of match you play for Kildare. It's a free in, which gives Kildare a wonderful chance of taking the lead, playing against a very stiff breeze, as you've heard, approaching half-time, and they have a very concerned look on their faces. But they're not All-Ireland champions for nothing. And Kerry will want to prove, by putting 2 titles together, that they're a pretty good team. Porrick Raven to hit this. Hoping to dent the champions' ambitions. He's kicked it well between the posts. His second point of the day. Kildare have gone back in front. So close to half-time, the fans are happy. Pádraig Raven looks very confident. Kildare lead for the second time in the game. O'Keefe's kick, deep to midfield. Great catch by Dermot Earley, reminiscent of his father in his heyday with Roscommon. And of course he played against Kerry in the 1980 All-Ireland football final. Foul, free kick. Glenn Ryan preparing to take it. It's a bad one, it's gone straight to Breen. Didn't really give Lynch and McCormick much of a chance. Daly, hand passing to William Kirby. Looking around, Mike Frank Russell makes the quick run to take it away from Sauce Dowling. And the youngster trying to test his pace now. Here's Palaid. Booting one in there. And Maurice Fitzgerald up, but it comes down to Glenn Ryan, who had the confidence to link up with his goalkeeper. That's confidence for you. Only yards out from goal. But Christy Ryan held his nerve. And Kerry get the free out. This was it again, just moments ago there. Good link up between Glenn Ryan and Christy Byrne, and it was almost intercepted. It was that close. Dermot Earley again coming to try and catch this one, but Palaid was there as well, and Darrow Kineda. And the referee very close to the action, spotting the foul. Free kick taken from the incorrect position. Kildare with an injured player. It may have been Dermot Earley. It is Dermot Earley indeed. Well, as we're into injury time, a quick check on the scoring chances for both teams so far. Kerry made 13 chances and Kildare made 10 chances. And the referee's whistle has sounded for half-time while the injured player is still being attended to. Kildare have played against the wind. Maurice Fitzgerald, the superstar of Gaelic football, Footballer of the Year last year, has been held so far effectively by Brian Lacey. He hasn't scored in the match. It's also a cause for concern that this man here is injured heading in at half-time. The doctor there alongside him. But Kildare will be happy with their first half performance. They're doing enough. And at half-time they have a 1-point lead. It's Kildare 5, Kerry 4. And let's go down to the sideline as they go in and join Marty Morrissey.
And I'm joined now by John Crofton. A good performance by Kildare in the first half, John.
Yeah, after the first 6 or 7 minutes, it took us 5 minutes to get into their half the field. We've near enough taken whatever chances we've created, so we're happy enough. It took us a while to settle around the middle of the field.
Considering your style of play, it probably suits you to play against the breeze.
Yeah, we tend to carry the ball a little bit, but I would be a little bit critical of our reluctance to kick it longer there, and even in the first half against it. So we'll be looking to get it in that bit faster in the second half.
So can we expect a longer ball this time?
I think with the breeze, it'd be foolish not to avail of it. The breeze won't win anything for us, but I think we have to measure them in there if we can get it in quicker.
Let me just ask you very quickly about your Kildare defence. Brian Lacey is doing a superb job with Maurice Fitzgerald, for instance.
Yeah, our defence is tight. Brian is doing well so far. Generally tight. They've probably created a couple of chances. Might have been disappointed they didn't get a goal early on.
John Crofton, the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Well, the way that Kerry started that game of football, their speed and attack and the trouble that they gave the Kildare defence earlier on, you thought that Kildare were going to get a mauling in this match. However, the situation tells us at half-time that the All-Ireland champions are trailing by a point. We take a commercial break. We'll talk to the panel after that. Well, it has cooled considerably in Dublin here this afternoon, and that will be good news to the players as they face into the second half of this All-Ireland semi-final. Down on the pitch at the moment, though, it's the boys and girls from the national schools around the country who are giving an exhibition of their skills in the mini-sevens game. Dressed in the colours of Kildare and of Kerry, of course. You just saw Emer Gallagher there from St. Wynda's National School, and Banagher and Offaly scoring a goal. And let me tell you, there are some tough little customers down there on both sides in both matches. The boys playing down here at the Hill 16 side, the girls up at the Canal end. However, it's the big boys of Kerry and Kildare, Tony, that we are looking at the moment. A strange first half of football. You kind of think that Kerry will be leading this thing by about 10 points the way they've torn into Kildare early on.
Yeah.
But as we know, Kildare are leading.
Yeah, they started very, very well. Like Darrow O'Shea at midfield is too strong for Dermot Earley at the start, and he was holding him off, winning good possession. Declan O'Keefe was finding William Kirby with the kickouts, and everything was going well for him. The only thing they didn't do was put away Kildare. They had the chances, but they didn't take them. There was a few chances there. Maurice Fitzgerald's only strolling around the place. He looks like he's out for a walk on Banna Beach. You know, there should be a lot more urgency in them and a little more killer instinct, because they had the balls and they just didn't take the opportunities they had.
I suppose Colin, early on, Ger Canning in his commentary was making a point about Carlo Dwyer could have been in the Kerry colours, of course, coming out here, and I suppose he felt himself a little irony when he scored the point that he got in that first half there.
Yeah, well, he probably felt a lot under pressure coming today to play against some of his former teammates in Kerry as well, and he had a lot to prove. And his first point there, he got the ball out the field first of all and gave it back then. But typical of Kildare, they're running all over the place. Maybe the short passing doesn't look great. Carlo Dwyer pulls it back. And again, Kerry back's a little bit rash in making challenges there and gives him a bit of room. You know, he pulls back inside. Pal Lade was the first player who ran straight by him instead of checking and making sure that he got in a block. But since the game has settled down, Kildare have taken over, because I think the main factor is around the middle of the field. They're getting all the breaking ball, and Declan Kerrigan is getting a lot of possession, very loose. Liam Flaherty would need to push up on top of him. But if Kildare got in the ball a little bit faster, they seem to have the Kerry full back line, particularly Barry O'Shea and Stephen Stack are struggling a little bit. And if they get the ball in fast to them the second half. But on the other side, sometimes when you are playing against the wind, it suits a forward because the ball tends to drop down in front of you and it's easier to come out on it. Kerry were kicking a lot of high ball in the first half, so maybe it'll drop a bit shorter in front of Maurice Fitzgerald, who will be forced to go for it, and Michael Francis Russell, who has got quite a few balls, and John Crowley has done quite well. So even though Kerry have to come out, they're certainly outsiders now at this stage, and it'll be very interesting to see what sort of heart and grit, because Kildare have responded in adversity to the loss of Buckley and played superbly.
Mind you, Tony, Kildare can count themselves lucky that they're not a couple of goals down before the period in which they settled into the game, because the way that Kerry came at them, as we said, I mean, we have one example like Darragh Kinnaird going through these. There could have been goals in these chances. Yeah,
they had them wide open. They were winning good ball in midfield and laying it off in high into the full forward line, and Darragh Kinnaird in particular, he could have got a goal really and took his point, but we can see an example of that coming up there. Kick out by Christy Byrne in around midfield. And that's an example of Darragh O'Shea winning a good ball. Liam Flaherty, he was coming out a little farther today than what he normally is. A direct ball in, broken down by John Crowley in for Darragh Kinnaird. And he could have taken this point, but I suppose a sensible thing, or it could have taken a goal, but a sensible thing really is to touch it over the bar. Good defending as well by Glenn Ryan.
Now, we heard the interview there, Colin, with Johnny Crofton just before the break. He was saying that the one thing that he would criticise the fact that Kildare not laying the ball off early enough inside and quick enough, and certainly that's been the case. I mean, there's so many passing. It's real kind of 50-50 stuff, a lot of it. Martin Lynch got one point that was an example of what they can do when they move quickly.
That's right. Kildare are a better version of Derry. They moved the ball a bit faster forward, but there was times there when it took 10 or 12 passes to get it in. But they showed an example at Martin Lynch point when they get the ball and a good kick pass. Ken Doyle giving in a great ball there to Martin Lynch, who crosses over from his own corner. Space left inside by Pádraig Graven, who'd moved out. Good forward play. An easy point off his left foot. So that's what Kildare can do. And Martin Lynch has been winning most of the ball that went in. So Kildare should be really pumping a lot more ball in his direction.
OK, let's see if they're going to do that. Before we go to Ger Canning, let's pick up with Marty Morrissey.
Sean Walsh, acting selector and chairman of the county board. Any changes in your team?
No changes in the Kerry team at the moment. We haven't played exceptionally well today. We were playing with the wind. We're down a point. Our ball is going in too long. It is going in too slow and too high. We haven't getting the inside from as much chance. We're not putting in the ball as well as we'd like to put it in. First thing we have to do is to rectify that anyway and putting the ball better into the forwards. There's no change.
OK, thank you, Sean.
Right then, they're ready for the second half. Michael Curley is waiting for everybody to get back into position and check the watch. I know one man who'll be pretty happy with the score at half time. That's Dennis Wynn from Athy. He's in the Mater Hospital. Happy to see his side ahead by 5 points to 4. So the second half gets underway, and it's Willie McCreary getting that ball downfield, down to Martin Lynch. Here's Ken Doyle. Picked up here by Eamon Breen, fouled in the back. Many Kerry followers all over the world watching this afternoon, among them in Chicago, the Casey family. Their dad is here for the first time in a semi-final back in Ireland for 43 years. He'll be looking for a better scoreline like the one they have at the present time. This is Ken Doyle again. this time picking out Martin Lynch superbly. Referee says play on. He saw the bit of dragging. Eddie McCormack coming steaming in here, and he's put it over the bar in spite of the fact that there was an incident just to his right. Martin Lynch involved in it. Eddie McCormack knocking it over the bar. The Finance Minister, Charlie McCreary, in there, or McCreevy rather, in there. Between McCreevy's and McCreary's, they're all here and enjoying it. And Seamus Pryor has come in to have a word with the referee about what was going on as Eddie McCormack was coming in, and that man received the injury. And the referee is calling aside Eamon Breen from Finuke in Kerry, and he becomes the first man to have his name taken. Message is very clear. Just watch there. Little altercation out of shot there. The kick out towards Dermot Early, beyond Glenn Ryan. Parlayed, first time going to get it across towards William Kirby. Instead it's mopped up by John Finn. 6 points to 4. A great start to the second half being made by the Leinster champions. Really now putting it up to the reigning All-Ireland champions, Kerry. Seamus Moynihan. Great campaigner. Great competitor as well. Low inside towards Johnny Crowley. They tried to improve the quality of ball going into the inside forward line. And the referee calling for the ball. Seamus Sauce Dowling there, playing his 29th championship match this afternoon, and the referee preparing to throw the ball in between two. It'll be Darragh O'Shea and Dermot Early. Almost takes an eternity to come down. Comes down to John Finn in the end. Maurice Fitzgerald dragging him. Finn gets his kick away towards Pádraig Raven. He was pushed, but referee says play on. Pushed by Stephen Stack. Parlayed. Here's Darragh O'Shea getting away from Ken Doyle. Darragh Kinnaida now, challenged by Willie McCreary. Kinnaida still going forward with purpose, holding it up still. Glenn Ryan, the latest one to get in a challenge. A bit of a block on it then. Not the best of kicks, and McCreary directing Dermot Early where to place the ball next. It's with Rainbow. They go long using the breeze towards Martin Lynch, but it's picked up here by Barry O'Shea. O'Shea and Stack had some awkward moments during that opening 35 minutes. Donald Daly kicking it in towards Mike Frank Russell, runs on there towards William Kirby. Challenged, gets it back to Johnny Crowley, turning into the challenge of Ronan Quinn. Playing it back once again towards Donald Daly, and that time well away to the right. And we've got a substitution, I think, coming up pretty soon, and let's go back to Marty Morrissey.
Yes, indeed. It looks like Liam Brosnan is coming in. It's not yet confirmed, but it does seem likely that it's Willie Kirby that's going to be the man that's taken off. Down in the Kildare dugout, Mick O'Dwyer is having a word, and John Crofton with Pádraig Brennan. So Pádraig Brennan might just be coming on the Kildare attack in a matter of moments.
Yes,
but Liam Brosnan is in fact coming on.
Okay, Liam Brosnan then preparing to come on. One of the stars of their under-21 success earlier in the year. He's a very good half-forward, Brosnan. Maurice Fitzgerald coming to it. Dispossessed brilliantly by Dermot Early. Really showing sharpness and awareness. Back to Kerrigan. Glenn Ryan. That was a great dispossession of Maurice Fitzgerald. Eddie McCormack. Glenn Ryan's available. Coming like a train through the centre. Going long, it's a great ball down towards Martin Lynch, getting away from his man. Barry O'Shea getting back, winning it. Good full back play. He was cool under pressure. William Kirby back towards Eamon Breen. The next pass is for Flaherty, just about holds on. He was tripped, however, by John Finn. Takes the free kick from the incorrect position, but he's allowed to do so in towards Johnny Crowley. It bounces back off him towards the sideline. Parlayed. Suddenly a bit more urgency from the champions, trailing by 2 points. Mike Frank Russell back to Johnny Crowley, looking for their first point in the second half, belting it to the right. It's a bit like Clare yesterday in Thurles. They're missing those vital chances in the early stages of the second half that make you wonder. Liam Brosnan has come on, and the man who is going off the team is William Kirby. Kirby more a midfielder than a left half forward, so they brought a specialist half forward in, and that after 5.5 minutes of the second half. They'll commiserate with him as Christy Byrne prepares to take this kick out. into midfield. The tall men rise for it, but it's John Phil who gets the breaking ball. Again they go long. This time it's fisted away by Barry O'Shea, settling in better in the second half. Ken Doyle for Martin Lynch. Down where he set in the pass for Brian Murphy in the Meath game, but this time William McCreary much better in midfield than when he goes up into the attack, but a very game performer. Now remember that dispossession just a little while ago. Here was Maurice Fitzgerald. Look out for Dermot Earley. There it goes. Almost pickpocketing the ball away. The fresh man in has been marked by John Finn, by the way. They've already been elbowing one another. Dermot Earley fisted it, Kerrigan got it, some dragging, free to Kildare, taken quickly by Ken Doyle. Inside towards the man inside there, Martin Lynch, who was pushed in the back by Barry O'Shea, and it's a free in from 13 metres out. But the tactic here has been to isolate Martin Lynch inside there against Barry O'Shea, withdraw the other forwards in towards the half-forward position, and he's utilising the space as there's an injury to one of the players. It seems to be John Finn, or is it John Finn? John Finn's on the field. It's Sauce Dowling, I think. So they spray the leg. All this while, Kildare are thinking about changes, and I see Davy Dalton being prepared. That may be just a precaution. I think it is. He's back on the bench. Sauce Dowling is being brought across towards the side, and Davy Dalton's about to come in. Davy Dalton gets a huge roar from the Kildare fans. Didn't play in the Leinster final, which is a little bit of a shame because his dad was the captain of the 56 winning team. Sauce is off and Davy's on. And that's Eamon Murcatig there, who is the physio, and of course son of a very well-known Kerry man. Meanwhile, it's a free kick to Kildare and a chance to put 3 between them. And Pádraig Graven preparing to take it. 2 from 3 so far is his tally. Declan O'Keefe poised, just in case he drops it short. He'll surely wallop this one over the bar, and that he does. He's got 3, and Kildare and Mick O'Dwyer lead by 3 against his native county. The man who played for Waterville for something like 31 years. Look at the hill. Declan O'Keefe, anxious to take the kick out quickly. 8.5 minutes into the second half. McCreary going high, Early going high. Glenn Ryan coming in, thundering his way forward. Again, direct play this time around with the breeze, paying off. It was Lynch who put it out over the sideline, getting a nice little shoulder from Barry O'Shea in the process. That's missed there by the new man in, Liam Brosnan. Eddie McCormack kicking. Declan O'Keefe rather, just making sure that it doesn't come too near the Kerry goal. It's gone for a 45. Pádraig Graven persisting. Absolutely deliriously happy fans. Almost as if they were at a concert in Slane Castle. Davy Dalton's on then. The great man of Kildare football down the years. Had a bit of an injury earlier in the season, then lost his place. It's Carol O'Dwyer who's come to take the 45. A teacher in Kildare. It's a well-hit kick, straight over the bar. A wonderful point from the 45 by Carol O'Dwyer. Very much a Kildare man this afternoon, make no mistake about that. And the white masses up on Hill 16, delighted to see their side lead the champions by double scores. Kerry yet to mount a decent attack in the second half. Over 10 minutes gone, they haven't scored. Kerry needs something special because right now Kildare are taking an even firmer grip on the game. Early. Down towards Martin Lynch. Barry O'Shea put under pressure. Lynch trying to take it away. Good work again by the fullback. Past Liam O'Flaherty. He's been bypassed for most of this match, the Kerry number 6. Darragh O'Shea. Beyond Darragh, Canada, taken by the centre half back and captain. It's a great ball by Glenn Ryan. On to McCormack. A wonderful kick goes sailing between the posts and over. A second by Eddie McCormack. The Leinster champions are having a wonderful outing here at Croke Park. Well, there were banners in Kildare town which read, "Paulie, you might as well leave the cup here. Save yourself the bother of going to Croker." Plenty of time left, however. This is Liam Brosnan. Again trying to work his way inside. Leaving it off nicely there towards Donald Daly. Man who got the first point of the match. To Mike Frank Russell. Now they need his skill inside, but that's dropped short to Christy Byrne. Oh, Christy prepared to show that he can also play outfield. He was doing that in a training exercise 10 days ago when he damaged his leg. Declan Kerrigan to Martin Lynch, just 2 men up front, Braven and Lynch. It's worked away by Kerry. Darragh O'Shea towards Liam Brosnan. Again trying to take on Willie McCreary. Good ball carrying by the number 21. He goes down, they get a free. 6 of one and half dozen of the other, I think, is Willie McCreary's statement to the ref. Liam Brosnan then has done the business in working it in, and she'd be quite happy, I'm sure, if she's a Kerry fan, to see this one sail over the bar. It would only be Maurice Fitzgerald's first point. Now they really need him to turn it on, and they need this on target, and it is. Nearly 13 minutes have gone in the second half, and Maurice Fitzgerald has got his first score from the free. 9 points to 5. McCreary in there, and so too 1 or 2 others like Declan Kerrigan, feeding it forward to Glenn Ryan, holding it up, waiting for players to get into decent positions. A lovely ball downfield. Lynch back to Pádraig Raven, hit ambitiously but really badly misdirected, and Darragh O'Shea wisely leaves it go out over the end line. Well, the kick-out's taken very quickly towards Liam O'Flaherty. Here's Breen. We'll have some news from the sideline coming up in just a moment. Still Eamon Breen, trying to breeze his way out that time. Seamus Moynihan, challenged by Kerrigan. Daly, going long towards Maurice Fitzgerald. Here comes Davy Dalton. Listen to the cheer as Davy gets it away to John Finn. Again, a thoughtful ball across, or at least it was intended to be. Breen got in first. Next it's Darragh Canada. The champions now will want to come strongly in this second half. That's a fine kick, and it's gone over the bar, and the scorer is Darragh of Canada from Anhualtocht. Kerry fans a little happier. They've now got themselves 2 points in this second half in the last few minutes, as we go to the sideline for more news from Marty.
Well, it seems despite Darragh Canada's second point of the match that the Kerry management team are not happy with their forward line. Dennis O'Dwyer has been asked to warm up, and while yet to confirm who exactly is coming off, the suspicion is that it will be Pa Lake.
Christy Burns kick to midfield, again gathered by Early. Some fantastic fielding. Trying to go by Moynihan. Down he goes, foul, the referee says. It's a very composed performance by Early and by his colleagues. Look at this leap in the air, eyes on the ball, great catch, wonderful fetch. Young army officer. And Pádraig Raven has come out to kick it. Well, they changed their minds. Carol O'Dwyer has now gone out, and the referee says, come on, make up your minds, guys. No time wasting. O'Dwyer kicking from the hands, getting across the ball and putting it over. Carol O'Dwyer has kicked 3 points for his adopted county. 1 from play, 2 from frees, and once again the lead for Kildare opens out to be a 4-point lead. 10 points to 6. And Kerry are about to introduce another fresh man into the attack. Dennis O'Dwyer coming in with a little slip of paper, and Parlayed straight away moves towards the sideline. So one of the stars of last year's championship getting his opportunity. Declan O'Keefe kicking to the middle. Willie McCreary jumping, it bounces away from Donald Daly. Seamus Moynihan bending his back, picking it up, getting it away from Ken Doyle. Up towards Mike Frank Russell. Good transfer back to the Kerry captain. They try to get within 3 points again of the challengers from Kildare. Glenn Ryan showing great defence. Back to Darragh Kinnaida. Good ball across, dangerous. 2 Kerry men there. Johnny Crowley kicking, and it's a goal! Absolute joy for Kerry. Crowley getting in. 17 minutes into the second half. Now it's the turn of the Kerry fans to feel a bit of relief. This was the movement. Darragh Kinnaida kicking it inside there. Couple of men waiting for it. Picked up by Johnny Crowley, and he blasts it into the back of the net. A great pass across. It was always dangerous. Ronan Quinn always in trouble, and Christy Byrne was well beaten. Still a point between the teams. Carol O'Dwyer at the other end for Kildare. He's held as a free in, and it should be as good as another point. Well, that goal has certainly brought a great deal of extra life into this match. It's given the champions renewed heart. But that was a good breakaway by Kildare, and a great reply. Pádraig Graven, 3 points from 4 kicks so far. Again he tests the breeze. Straight in front of the goal, 21 metres out. It should be Kildare's 11th point, and it is. 2 points separate the teams once again, and the Leinster champions are leading by 11 points to 1-6. Midway through the second half. Well, after that Johnny Crowley goal, it really is anybody's game. Kerry haven't been playing well, but they're right back in the match. Here's Liam Flaherty. There was some holding, however, by Darragh O'Shea, holding Dermot early. Flaherty won't give the ball back. The referee could penalise them 13 metres. Doesn't do so. Instead he's telling Anthony Rainbow back where the original incident happened. Dermot Early kicking, belting it down towards Martin Lynch. It runs all the way in, and the keeper does well. It bounced awkwardly in front of Declan O'Keefe. He gets it away to Seamus Moynihan. Up as far as Donald Daly. And now it's the turn of Kerry to employ hand passes to get themselves out of trouble. Green for Dennis O'Dwyer. Over the head of Maurice Fitzgerald, but he just gets a touch to it. Hasn't been a good day for the All-Star of last year. Away come Kildare again. Rainbow setting sail, expecting a free kick, nothing coming of it. Declan Kerrigan has it outside of the boot. Fished it away by Stephen Stack from Pádraig Graven. Picked up here by Liam Brosnan. Inside towards Johnny Crowley. Crowley up towards Mike Frank Russell. He's pushed in the back, out over the sideline by Davy Dalton. Free kick quickly taken in towards Maurice Fitzgerald. 13 metres out from goal. Glenn Ryan standing firm, being very commanding. Nicely down to Willie McCreary. Liam Flaherty this time making a very good interception. He's dragged down by Ken Doyle, feeling his head after all of that. But he did commit the foul, and the referee is going down. The notebook's out. And Mick O'Dwyer has seen it all over the years. Must have some mixed emotions this afternoon. Of course, he'd love to see his own Kildare go through. That's his job. But he's still very much a Kerry man. So the booking then of Ken Doyle, second player to have the name taken. There's another couple of players lying on the ground. Just a little clash, however, nothing nasty. Maurice Fitzgerald's made a wonderful catch. Here he comes. Now they need him, and he's put it over the bar. At last he begins to play. Maurice Fitzgerald with a wonderful score. This is where the St. Mary's man showed determination, craft and skill. A great point. One between them. Kerry edging back. Not for nothing are they All-Ireland champions. Christy Byrne kicks it into the middle. It runs out to Eamon Breen. Has support. Liam Brosnan was there, so too Johnny Crowley. Coming well away from his full forward position. Inside towards Maurice Fitzgerald. Better quality ball in there to try and tease and torment Brian Lacey, who has the ball back. Now Glenn Ryan. Cross towards Carol O'Dwyer. Great football match. Inside to Rainbow. Now Glenn Ryan. Tremendous energy being expended by players in both teams. Great skill as well. Inside towards Martin Lynch. Terrific second half as Lynch off balance kicks and scores! Martin Lynch with his second point. The fans are very relieved and pleased. Lynch from Clane has got another and opens up a 2-point gap again between Kildare and the All-Ireland champions. It was the product of some swift passing downfield to Martin Lynch onto the left boot, and over it went. And they're attacking again. Anthony Rainbow somehow holding control and his balance before then taking too many steps. Liam O'Flaherty is about to take the free kick, and we'll have some sideline news coming up in just a few moments. First, it's Seamus Moynihan for Kerry, again holding on to it. Here's Darragh O'Shea. Again they go at the Kildare defence, going round Martin Early, and this one has been kicked away to the left, Dermot Early rather, and there's a fresh man coming in for Kildare, and let's hear about it from Marty Morrissey.
Thank you, Jerry. It's Pádraig Brennan from Sarsfield's club is coming on, and the man that's going to be coming off is corner forward with 4 points, Pádraig Graven.
Interesting. So Graven has gone off, in spite of the fact that he is the free taker. Pádraig Brennan, remember, came in and played some very good football during the Leinster Championship. Graven is, I think, unhappy. Obviously he would be. It's been a good couple of weeks for Pádraig Brennan. He is set to join the cadets in the Curragh in September. He'll also be hoping that month to be preparing for an All-Ireland final against Galway. That'll be determined if there is a winner today in the next 11 and a half minutes. Maurice Fitzgerald racing, but he's beaten for it by the brilliant Brian Lacey. McCreary to Ken Doyle. Crossfield ball, and straight away it's the new man. Pádraig Brennan with a little solo here against Stephen Stack. Back to Carol O'Dwyer, and O'Dwyer is dragged back, and it's going to be a free in. O'Dwyer dragged by Eamon Fitzmaurice, and so now there's another free kick. Fitzmaurice had been speaking with one of the Kerry players. The referee had been speaking with Eamon Fitzmaurice, I think it is, and it is now Pádraig Brennan, the new man in, to take over the free-taking duties as well. Kicking it with his left, accurately so. First touch, and he pushes his side firmly ahead. That was a very well taken free from the hand. We always think it should be a straightforward, easy skill, but it really never is, certainly not under the pressure that he was under in a Bank of Ireland All-Ireland football semi-final. 3 points the margin. Kildare lead. 10 minutes to go. Kerry pick it up again. Darragh O'Shea pushed ahead by Seamus Moynihan to Liam Brosnan, the fresh man in, taking on John Finn. Good block by Glenn Ryan, and out they come, and they try to take it away there through Eddie McCormack. Going down Declan Kerrigan, Glenn Ryan, the ball went just behind him, but they get it back to Ken Doyle. He's foraging around the middle of the field. Eddie McCormack kicks ambitiously downfield to Pádraig Brennan. Stack is his marker, directly in as far as Martin Lynch. Good transfer, good 1-2 football. McCreary's totally unmarked. He spots him eventually, but they get a man back. McCreary loses his way, and it's Liam O'Flaherty who has it for Kerry. Good ball outside there, and Daly misses the pass because he's hit it straight to Ken Doyle, who missed his opportunity. Some errors creeping in. Teams who must be tired in spite of all the training. They're almost full-time professional athletes nowadays and don't get a penny for it. But the entertainment value is top class. Some holding back that time. Ken Doyle was being held back by Liam O'Flaherty, who hasn't been his usual dominant self. But that because of the tactics employed by Kildare to keep the ball away from the centre half back position. Carol O'Dwyer has come out to kick. 45 and maybe 47 metres out, that's the line. He's already got 3 points in the match, 2 points from 2 frees. High but to the left. Sympathetic applause because the fans on Hill 16 appreciate his efforts. And he's made a big difference to Kildare this season. There's palpable tension about Croke Park. That man not feeling any cold. Why should he? It's a pretty decent day. Declan O'Keefe's kick. Dermot Earley is beaten in the air by Darragh O'Shea. But the ball is picked up by Kildare. They're getting all these little scraps. Good broken play picked up again by Kildare. Carol O'Dwyer cross here towards Porrick Brennan. Trying to turn inside Stephen Stack. Laying it off to Eddie McCormack. Trying to round Eamon Breen. He's given it away to Donald Daly, however. Kerry still hoping, in spite of the fact that they're not playing particularly well, to get back at Kildare, but running out of time. Only 7 minutes left. Again they look to Maurice Fitzgerald. This time he's taken down by Lacey, and Brian Lacey injured in the process. Play continues. The referee, however, in spite of the kick by Darragh Kinneada, which has gone into the hands of Christy Byrne, the referee has stopped the play. Well, it was Brian Lacey coming here to challenge Maurice Fitzgerald. All eyes on the ball. He was fouling his man quite clearly. Maurice Fitzgerald had a tug at his jersey as well, and he came down awkwardly. And Brian Lacey still needs attention. So the physio, Yaman Rocketig, and also Dr. Danny Mulvihill trying to work their magic. We've got some more news as they attend to the injured player from the sideline.
Yes, well, Eamon Breen just went off the pitch here to get some bandage on his boot. I think the laces have gone, and I think he just got some bandage around the boot just to keep it in place, the left one.
Well, he'll be hoping that the chance hasn't gone as well. Kerry have it all to do. They have a free coming up. But the champions of last year are in serious trouble. Just like the champions in hurling of last year were in serious trouble yesterday and ultimately went out of the championship. Maurice Fitzgerald's taken 5 free kicks this afternoon. He's got just 1. How they could do with this one. It's curling, still moving its way in, and it's ended up in the back of the net. But the referee says, hang on a while, he's going in to check with his umpire. It was a really dangerous ball pumped in by Maurice Fitzgerald. No flag has been risen so far. The referee checking with both umpires. No indication of a flag today. The big question, were they in the square? Was there a foul? Was there a push? This is a key decision, and the referee, I think, is disallowing it. The crossing of the sticks doesn't count. Kerry still 3 points behind. Eddie McCormack in towards Declan Kerrigan. Glenn Ryan, what a match he's playing. Storming out again. Darragh Kinneada will really have to try and tie him up. It's a huge ball inside, beyond Brennan, however. And goalkeeper O'Keefe is out quickly. Barry O'Shea. Eamon Breen almost got to it. Barry O'Shea got there first. Seamus Moynihan next. But the tackling by Kildare starts with number 15 when he was on the pitch. They put all kinds of pressure on Kerry. Maurice Fitzgerald, lovely pass ahead this time to Darragh Kinneida. They need to eat into the lead. There are only 4 minutes left. But Kinneida's kick has gone to the right and it's gone wide. Have the champions blown their chance? Well, if this one had gone in, they'd be right back in the hunt and level. But there were players inside in the square. The question is, were they there before the ball actually arrived into the small rectangle? And the umpire said they were. So he realises the pressure of the job right now. As Christy Byrne kicks, Kerry try to get possession. They'll surely fight like tigers right to the 70th minute. That's a bad ball to Mike Frank Russell. Davy Dalton was the better positioned player. Mike Frank with a look of annoyance in his face. It's gone inside to Ken Doyle. Beyond Flaherty, nicely inside towards Brennan. The new man who's come into the game kicks, but kicks towards the right. Saved in there by Declan O'Keefe. Anxious to get it forward quickly. Appreciating there's just a couple of minutes left. Liam O'Flaherty for Stephen Stack. Seamus Moynihan, the captain. Now Darragh O'Shea. Will they be happy to try and pick off a point or two? Will they go and try and score a goal from somewhere? Maurice Fitzgerald has it 20 metres out, 4 men alongside him, and the referee says free in. The backs thought they were being sufficiently disciplined and hoped that Maurice might be penalised for overholding, but the referee says no, there was a foul by Kildare back. So this should be a fairly straightforward kick. Again, the referee's gone in for a consultation with one of the umpires. And the referee calls aside Davy Dalton. So name in the book. Kildare are just minutes away from an All-Ireland final appearance, but there's still time to go. Maurice Fitzgerald to try and kick another. Safely over the bar. 3 points for Maurice Fitzgerald. It's 13 points for Kildare, 1-8 for Kerry. Just 2 points separate the teams. Kildare fans, edge of the seat time for them at this stage, and for Kerry, hoping, wondering and probably praying as well. But it's taken by Dermot Early, son of a famous Roscommon man. Declan Kerrigan says, hang on a while, let's take the free kick when we're ready and everybody's in place. Anthony Rainbow from the wonderfully named Suncroft club, kicking it deep. There's nobody there from Kildare. Darragh O'Shea is there from Kerry. Outside to Seamus Moynihan. Great movement from Moynihan always during a match. He's got to get it forward quickly. On my watch, just over a minute to go. Darragh Kinneida kicks it in. They're annoyed about that because there is nobody in there. And Brian Lacey goes back. He was fouled by Johnny Crowley, the man who scored the only goal of the match. The free is out as far as Anthony Rainbow. Liam O'Flaherty. Ken Doyle. It's been a wonderful display by the men in the Lily Whites. Willie McCreary goes by. Moynihan next into challenge. Flaherty dispossesses him. Martin Lynch tries to stymie the defence. There was the shorts of Barry O'Shea were pulled that time, just tried to restrain him. Kerry get it out. Fisted out by Anthony Rainbow. The referee says, hang on, you were leaning in on the man. It's a free kick. Mike Frank ready to play on, but they've got a free kick for about 30 metres out. Well, that wasn't the correct position where the foul occurred, and the referee quite correctly whistles it back. We're in injury time. Kildare are so close. The champions are almost out. Maurice Fitzgerald about to take the free. Well, at this stage, they must surely be thinking, do we work it in and try and get a winning goal? This will put just a point between them. And now it's a question of how much time remains. Maurice Fitzgerald has kicked 4 points this afternoon. 1 point separating the teams. How much time is referee Michael Curley from Galway going to add on? Amazing tension. Paulie watches, that's all he can do. Christy Byrne taking his time with the kick out. Nearly a minute of injury time has been played. Kildare are close, but they're really up against the champions. McCreary gets it, a vital catch that time. Kerrigan, they hold on to it. John Finn, again it's McCreary. Holding it up, frustrating Kerry all the time. Carol O'Dwyer, across field, and Brennan had to be very quick about that to keep it away from Stack, and Kildare hold on to it. That's a vital take. The referee whistles and it's all over. Kildare have dethroned the champions and reached the All-Ireland final for the first time since 1935. Glenn Ryan has been a magnificent captain this afternoon. He kisses the ground in delight. The fans come in to invade Croke Park. Kerry's days as champions and holders of the Sam Maguire over for this particular year, and it's going to be a Kildare versus Galway final. Charlie is happy. We might all be getting a couple of extra pounds in the next budget, and it's going to be Kildare versus Galway at the end of September in this year's Bank of Ireland All-Ireland football final. They've only met once ever in a final before, and that was way back in 1919. And if you're old enough to remember that, well, I hope you're enjoying today if you're a Kildare fan. That ended 2-5 to a point, Kildare winning. It'll be another story in 4 weeks' time. Kildare battled hard. They had a game plan. They went in without one of their best players, Niall Buckley, but they've come out as victors by a point. There's the full-time score. It's Kildare 13 points, Kerry 1 goal and 9. A magnificent win for the Lily Whites. And we're going down to join the man of the moment, Mick O'Dwyer.
Some moment, Mick O'Dwyer. Kildare, you've guided to the All-Ireland final.
Well, I suppose it has been a major achievement. I have worked so hard with this team for the past 18 months. It has happened. I'm thrilled and delighted. But I would like to congratulate Kerry. Kerry, who played outstanding football today. They played the ball all the way through, and what a game of football we had today. It was Gaelic football at its real best. No physical stuff, real combined football, and some great scores and some mighty tackles in it. I'm thrilled and delighted to have one today.
But it must be an emotional moment for you to beat Kerry. It must be an emotional moment for you to beat Kerry in this All-Ireland semi-final.
Well, something I never looked forward to. Something I never thought that would happen in my career in football. It has happened now, but sure, I mean, that's part and parcel of sport. You have to accept the wins when they come. We did it today. I think we did it in style.
Absolutely. Mick O'Dwyer, thank you.
So, what a scene, and what a scene.
Look at that.
Whites everywhere. And, you know, all the bunting and the festooning that went on in County Kildare, north, south, east and west of that county for the last few weeks. Well, the Kerry supporters here, crestfallen, disappointed, bitterly, acutely disappointed, I'm sure, to have lost their championship. But if you've been in Kildare and you've seen all the teddy bears in white and you've seen all the bunting and the flags and the clever banners, I tell you what, go down there sometime over the next 4 weeks and just savour the atmosphere, just enjoy it, because it should be one wonderful All-Ireland final. Two new emerging teams, as it were. How good it is to see that in Gaelic football, and that the game isn't always being dominated by the same powers. And this time around, Kildare have beaten the winners of the All-Ireland in 1995, the winners of the All-Ireland in 1996, and the winners of the All-Ireland in 1997. Who's going to win it in 1998? Who can tell?
Oh, well, I'll tell you now, I wish that you could be here to see this, because the television pictures can bring you the visual impact of what's happening at Croke Park, but really you would have to be here to just get a sense of the wave of emotion that has swept through Croke Park this afternoon. Jubilation amongst those Kildare supporters, and well, it's a maroon and white All-Ireland final. The maroon of Galway, the whites of Kildare. We have another interview coming up. I think it's Niall Buckley this time.
Niall, I know you weren't able to play today, but just give me your read of today's game.
Today, the lads really had to do a little bit extra today, because not just for myself, but we were against all the odds today with the injury. It only happened last night, so I had little time to think about it. But the way